he would look at something, and he'd think about it. And then he'd all of a sudden go, macchina mano, and they'd bring him the hand camera. Così, così, così.
Così.
And he'd go and he'd run and jump up on top of a sofa.
La macchina così fa questo movimento. Così.
And he'd walk along the back of the sofa, and then he'd jump up onto a table. Così, così, così. And then he'd run along like this, and then he'd jump up on the stairs. Così, così, like this, like this, like this. And then he'd hold it above, like this, to the door, and out. And he'd walk back in, and the entire crew was standing there like this. And he'd go, vai, 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 subito, subito. And everybody running around like not knowing what to do. 2 days later, we're ready to shoot this sequence. And they have a cameraman tied on a pole, attached to a dolly. 4 guys go like this, lifting the cameraman up on a harness that he's got, holding the camera into the air. Then they run along with this track that they built way up the side of a room so that it could go over our heads and beat us to the door, and we go out.
Silenzio! Partito! Silenzio!
He did some really radical stuff, editing-wise, too, that people don't really give him credit for. I mean, you know, from subjective points of view to sudden tight close-ups. This had never been done, and it gave an immediacy to the films that followed them.
When you see John Ford movies, even if you see when it's already begun, you don't know who made this movie, but you see the style, you know, you see the way of doing the shot, you know, it's very personal. And with Dario it's the same. It's a very personal way of filmmaking, and I like it.
Oh, my friend!
Argento is now recognised all over the world. To countless fans, the name Argento has become almost a brand.
He's pretty famous in Italy with young people, with kids. He and I were over there at the Turin Film Festival, and we went out to an Egyptian museum to look at mummies, I guess reliving our old Hammer horror film days. And he was mobbed by his school kids, mobbed. They knew who he was, and they were yelling and screaming for him. So he's very popular with the young generation because there's no one else doing what he did anymore. That whole, his whole genre is kind of gone from him.
When you go to Japan, my father is famous like in Italy almost. It's beautiful to see that he reached people all over the world. He always say that he tells a story, and it's great to see that the story he tells is interesting for everybody in the world.
Can you please sign this guy?
I'm very proud of the success of Dario, because when I met him, I really loved his cinema. I really loved his imagination, his capability of great technical skill, you know. So this remains. I can't cancel this, and this he deserves the success he has all around the world.
Ma tutti I medici che ci sono, ma proprio un egiziano doveva trovare.
He's great to talk with, to get drunk with, to go out with. We're friends. We have a completely different way of looking at life and the world, completely different kind of life. And yet we both understand the horror movie and love it. And it's fun. It's fun being with him.
Io sono orgoglioso.
I'm proud, and I'm happy to have made a lot of films. It was interesting to say what I wanted to say, and I was lucky to be able to do it in my own way. I am very proud of one thing. I've worked in total freedom, and nobody could tell me what to do. If I hadn't had this, my films, of course, would have been very different.
Dario's always had his always just really, I don't know, followed his gut on, well, this works, and it works for me, and therefore I hope it works for you, and I don't care if it doesn't, which is a terrific attribute that he has. I mean, he just sort of lays it out there. I mean, he cooks a stew, and you don't like the way it tastes, tough.
I had finished the film. I was at the hotel packing my bag. Knock on the door. Scusi. Dario wants you. He forgot one shot. What shot? Non lo so. Come. I'm sitting in the car, we're driving, further than we've ever driven to any location. I'm thinking, I don't remember any of this, where are we going? And it's getting dark, and we're driving. The next thing is, the guy points at this big door. It's almost like a castle. So I get out of the car, and he drives away. And I'm standing there in the pitch black. I'm thinking, what's going on here? So I go over and I bang on the door, and I swear to you, a guy with a lantern answers the door, and he goes, and he walks off. I was in pitch black, you know, and so I had to like keep up behind him, turning all these corners. And I'm thinking, I am living a Dario Argento movie here, and I'm getting nervous, and I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe they're gonna kill me. Then I turn up, and all of a sudden, there's a big shout, and fountains light up, and a whole band begins to play, an orchestra. And it was a farewell party. That was the location Dario chose to have the party. It was a fantastic time.
Got to be big in every sense of the word.
You've got to